All right, Mr. Abbott, thank you for joining.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tyler.
Awesome. You bet. You bet. Now, I'd love you to introduce yourself, what you're doing. First off, for anybody knowing, John is the man when it comes to AI, and he's just a good friend. But I'd love to hear an introduction from you, your story, how you got into this business, and what you're currently doing right now.
Yeah, so I currently am running a company called Abbitt. We do AI implementation for small to mid-sized businesses. I'm sure we'll get into that plenty, but really, I have a very wide, diverse background in small business. So I've done a lot of stuff in sales. I have a background in real estate, everything from realtor to help to operate a couple brokerages, kind of help scale operations. I've done stints as a marketing director in a couple businesses, helping kind of build up lean marketing operations, and have just kind of played like kind of a blend of revenue ops roles. And so 2 years ago, when I think it's 2 years ago now, when ChatGPT launched one of their kind of first big models, the third, um, it very quickly became like this is a clear tool that's going to rapidly get better, and I can start attaching this tool to all the stuff I'm already doing. So I was building out automations and CRMs and kind of refining the operations process before AI. And so when AI became a tool, it was like, dude, this is game changing, and I kind of want to get ahead of it. And I got to give you kind of some early props on this, Tyler. So I was doing this stuff for a while, and the first time Tyler and I ever hung out, we were kind of talking about it, and you were like, dude, you need to go all in on this, like now. That was a little over a year ago. So finally took your advice. Very happy I did. But yeah, that's how we're here.
First off, super cool. Your entire story. We'll dive deeper into it. But you're also, think about John, for anybody listening, is most guys who are really good at AI, innate in the tech stuff, like they're just not people persons. Like you just can't, they're just, super behind the scenes, geeky, whatever. You're genuinely both. Like, dude, you're like just a fun, cool friend you can go have a beer with, whatever, but you're also, your stuff. It's like you're a visionary and an operator at the same time.
I
You can
appreciate that.
truly do both. And that's a very rare skill. So it's cool to meet someone who's, and know someone who's, has that skill set of they see the vision they want to build. They're a serial entrepreneur. They've tried a million things like we all do when we're starting out. And now you have this, you have the social proof to back everything up, the resume to build it, the price points where you can actually, you know, believe in charging these amounts or however much you charge per project or per build or on recurring, however you structure it, because you actually have the track record and you're not just some kid who bought $1,000 course and started shilling his own. So it's
Well, I
it's
mean, that's how
cool.
it starts, right? You got to start getting the information somewhere. And it's not like there's college courses on AI automation, right? You can go to a high level school and learn like in depth, like how to code and train and build an LLM,
Hmm.
but you can't learn how to go in and meet with a team and like listen to them and understand their pain points and kind of go, hey, like, could we solve this with technology? And actually, you just brought something up. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. I'm actually much more introverted than you would possibly guess, but I I enjoy like hearing what people are up to, and it's fun to be in a position where I can collaborate with people and kind of hear like what are all your problems. Let's try and solve some of it. I don't know. It's kind of always been like a natural gear that I've had, so it's a huge blessing to be able to do that for work now. I want to park on something you said real quick, though. You said not a lot of people understand AI and are kind of people persons. And you're kind of alluding to how tech has been for a long time, which is you've got these guys that, like, you go to school for 4+ years and learn to speak this other language, right? Java, HTML, CCS, or CSS. Like, you go learn how to do all these basic things. And then you get even more in depth into kind of the more complex codes, and by the time you're done, you've literally learned. I sit in a room with AirPods in, and I don't talk to people all day, and after 18 hours something exists. And so they get very much so into that lane of like, I work with the tech. And so a lot of problems have arisen out of that. Like, people go to hire a development company and they'll say, hey, we're struggling with this, we need you to build something. and it's not really translatable. Like it's always been best to have a consulting company in between you and the developers. And what we're entering into right now is a time where AI is good enough that guys like you and me, who are just like, we're the entrepreneur type, right? We like to go meet people, hear about what they're up to, provide value, make money, like that same profile of person, the same people that become realtors, the same people that become insurance, agents, the same people that want to go learn a skill and build their own book of business in kind of, a place where there's a playbook. That's never been possible in tech because you've got these people that are hyper educated in these areas and they're the only people technical enough to pull it off. Now AI is good enough. And so we just tipped over into this period of time where you can have those people have minimal technical knowledge. You basically just need to know what it can do and understand the boundaries of it so you don't overpromise and underdeliver. But if you can get there, you can, with some training, it took time to learn this, right? I'm not going to underplay that there's learning involved, but it's incredible how quickly you can get there. And so that's actually what we're doing at Avalis. We're trying to be like the Keller Williams of the AI implementation space, because we can't. Like the people we're competing against right now, they have to make enough money to afford $250,000 a year salary because they're sticking to that old tech model of we need these super developers to come join our team, and that's just not where things are at anymore.
By the way, I mean, it's insane. The audit you did for us, where you're like, hey, this is what you need help with. You need a dashboard. You need this. You need help in the DMs. X, Y, Z. It was an amazing audit. Like insane. I know
Thank
you
you.
did two for us before. The second one was like out of the park. Even after you refine your systems further, it was like it made me want to do it. Like it's like, okay, wow, I do need this. I need this. I need this. For any business owner who's watching this right now and they're fearful of AI replacing their business, or maybe it's their team is like, oh, what do I do? I know you use AI to help enhance their team necessarily. Is that's the goal. But with that said, what should business owners focus on right now when it comes to AI? Is it using it more on the front end and being vocal about it, like, hey, we're using this is AI as a receptionist, or is it more on the back end where it's not client facing and it's just helping with the
Mhm.
SOPs, or a little bit of both based on their current constraint? What do you think is more important?
Good question. I think the problem right now is that most business owners use ChatGPT for fun, and they write that off as their company using AI. And that's just not the case. Like if people on your team use ChatGPT, great. That's like bare minimum 2 years ago, right? You need to just decide to do something. So I just, what's the loudest problem, right? If you literally are working all night because you have to check emails and you have to write contracts and anything that's like intellectual, it's thinking, it's reading through stuff, understanding it. That stuff can all be replaced immediately, and so go for the quick wins, right? If you're reviewing contracts, start throwing them. Do not throw them into ChatGPT. Get like the company enterprise version where your data is secure, but start testing those things, because here's the deal: once someone actually uses it properly and they go, oh my gosh, this thing that used to take me 8 hours a week is now gone, and it's not something I was passionate about or that drives the business, it's just like a necessary mundane task. Once you start to see that it can replace those things, there's like a quick ramp to you just start to actually implement all of it because you get it. I think the problem is a lot of business owners, especially that have been around for 5+ years. Maybe they've worked with some consultants. The consulting space is really like, let's pay someone an absurd amount of money to come spend 6 months researching what we do and tell us what's wrong and then not fix it.
Yep.
And that space has kind of carried into, like, automation has been a thing for, I don't know, probably 5 years, like an actual sector of technology where people are really good at this one thing. And I don't think it was that helpful 2 years ago. I think it was nice, but like it wasn't, it's not like you could hook up an LLM in 2022 and have like really high quality conversations with a customer in an automated state, right? It wasn't that good. We just got there like maybe a couple months ago where this stuff is actually good enough to start implementing it like an enterprise level. So you're asking like which one do you go into first? I'd say whichever's the loudest, but I maybe more important than that, whatever you can handle. Like get a taste of it, because once you have a taste of it, you're like, okay, this is now a priority, because if we prioritize this for like 1 month, all of us can go golf after lunch. Like it's a totally different way of running a business. But by that same token, maybe it's not you can golf after lunch. Maybe you have lofty goals that you need to achieve. Like you want to hit your first $1 million month, or you really need to bulldoze through that 3 million ARR, no man's land, as Hormozy calls it, where it's like it's really hard to scale out of that. You need to get leverage, right? And you can get leverage through capital, you can get it through talent, or you can get it through buying back a ton of time, right? One of the use cases I point to a lot is CIBC Bank. They're a Canadian bank. They did a fairly early, like before it was as good as it is now, AI generative pilot. And in the first year, they saved 200,000 hours as a company. So that's 22 years of leverage that they can apply to anything, really. And so when you're busy and you're looking for that little bit of leverage to help you get enough revenue to get the next hire, that's going to open things up even more. Like you got to find that leverage somewhere. So people get bogged down. They're like, oh, I don't have time to think about changing anything right now. It's like, dude, you have to, because someone's going to come along and just pulverize your business if they get the leverage first. And that's kind of the weird game that's happening right now. Is there's people that are like, I know I need AI because everyone's talking about it, right? They went through the social media thing, they went through the website thing. We've been through a couple of these, technological revolutions in our lifetime. So people are like, okay, I know the reaction I'm supposed to have, but I don't think they realize like the end outcome is really bad, right? If you have people that can actually kick your butt because they're so scalable. So I would say bite off like what you can chew, and then if you need a target, pick whatever's hurting the most, right? And every business owner has their own thing.
Is your business plan to make AI implementation like available for anybody, or is it just for those businesses who can afford it? Because from a business owner perspective, even some of my clients, some of them are like, let's go, they're crushing it. They're
Mm-hmm.
just period, right? They're like, okay, let's install AI, let's do this. But some come to me and they're just dying. They're like, I just need leads right now. The last thing they're thinking about is
Right.
implementing AI.
Right.
So do you see it turning into like AI is almost a luxury? It's like buying a robot for your kitchen to help do your dishes that only like the luxury can afford? Or do you think that no matter where you are in your business journey, you should implement it and not necessarily spend as much money on ads if that means taking
Mm-hmm.
that funds and implementing it in AI for a couple months?
Good question. So if you don't have the resource, how do you get the resource? And if you do have the resource, what do you reallocate to it?
It's like a chicken or egg
Um,
type thing. Yeah.
yeah, it is and it isn't. So again, this is what I'm saying. People just need to get their hands dirty. Like I can code you a software with ChatGPT. It's much easier to use a different platform that costs a little bit more money, like way easier. But you can still go into ChatGPT. The new release of GPT-5 is like unbelievably good at coding. You can literally say, "Hey, open a canvas and code me a Pac-Man video game." And 3 seconds later, you have a Pac-Man video game. And you can say, "Great, now make the Pac-Man character look like my logo," and then give it your logo, and it'll do it.
Crazy.
So it is crazy, and it's crazy because even that used to cost money, right? If you look at what ChatGPT is, or what Grok is, or what Claude is, like they all have their own specialty, and we can maybe dive into that if you want. But they any of these tools would have cost like $1 million a year in the 90s, right? Someone would have paid a company a ridiculous amount of money for this type of thing,
Yeah.
and it's free, or it's $20 a month if you like really want it to kick butt. Like I don't think you can get any more low leverage than that. So in my mind, I'm like not super gracious towards the idea that this is like a privileged technology. I think people want an excuse not to have to learn something new because people are scared of change. But like those are the same people that get crushed by literally anything. So I would say if you're starting out, use it. Like you can go to ChatGPT right now. Let's hit people with some freebies to truly answer your question, right? Um, pick a business type that needs leads.
Kitchen remodeling, contractors.
Beautiful. Uh, go. Let's go after house flippers. Okay, this is where the consulting and AI meets each other. Let's target something so that we can give a good example. We're gonna go after flippers because they're always needing kitchens and such redone. One of the best ways to get to flippers is through realtors. So you open ChatGPT, and I personally would put on either deep research mode or agent mode, both of which are in GPT-5 now. And you just prompt it and say, "Hey, you are a research agent. You are exceptionally good at combing the internet for realtors' contact information." Okay, and I want you to create a CSV file with 100 contacts. I want you to get their first name, last name, email, the brokerage they work for, their phone number, and create like 100 person list, and then click go, and then go drink coffee. And it's going to give you 100 realtors in whatever area you tell it to look, and it'll give you their number, their email. These people's contact info is everywhere, but this lets you consolidate it quickly. And then guess what? You can't afford for someone like me to come build you a bot that does this for you. Do it yourself. You got the leverage. You got the list of people. You got the data. Go hit the phones, just like all of us have had to do for the last however many years, right?
Yeah.
But you got the data, you got the list, you got the targeted people. And so then the next step, which is just a little bit more expensive, is like, great, now how do we throw those into something like HubSpot or what is it called? MailChimp? Is that the big one?
Yeah, no, yeah.
There's all these different, email sending platforms. So now you go throw it in there and you attach an LLM to it and you personalize it. So now the next time you do it with a little bit more money, a little bit more resource, you train the AI as it's getting the leads to, in one of the columns, give you some context about that person. They're a realtor at Keller Williams in Houston, Texas, and they primarily work with investors from what I can see online. Great. You then have the AI personalize the email to them or the text to them or the phone call to them. And it'll say, "Hey, it looks like you work with investors in the Houston area. I think there could be a cool opportunity for us to partner and potentially, refer to each other. Let's hop on a call." Right? How many of those realtors are going to respond to that? Everyone, because they all want to build their business. So very quickly, you've gone from no leverage to pretty high leverage. Like if you can get 5 of those 100 realtors actually feeding to you, you're probably doing pretty good, right? And that's all with like base level use of AI. And so yeah.
So sorry to cut you off. So you, first off, I didn't know it could pull public info. So you can pull actual public names, everything. Okay.
It can surf the web. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Okay. And then also, does that eliminate the need for Apollo or any of these Fiverr lead scrapers? Like what happens to those SaaS platforms if AI can just do this for you?
They have a slightly different value prop. So again, you were asking about like the person who just can't afford something like that.
Right.
Apollo has a free version. It's not great. Clay AI is like, in my mind, going to be the gold standard, like over Zoom Info, because they do a combination of the old way of getting data and processing it and the new way, which is what I just described, which is having AI go find it for you. So they literally have AI like check all the stuff, right? So they'll go verify it 7 other sources and then have AI proofread it. But in Clay, you can like add a column and it will go enrich it with their LinkedIn. So it'll go look at their LinkedIn profile and say, "Hey, here's more info about them. They just celebrated 5 years at this company," right? It'll give you context that then you can put into the initial message to them. So each platform has their own thing they're offering. Like Apollo is great for a beginner because it has all these, you can program an automation sequence, right? And it's free. So that's a good free tool. I think we both know that the data on something like that is not super great. You also need to warm up your email and do all kinds of stuff. That's what I like Instantly AI for that. It's super cheap. It's like $15 a month and it'll warm up an email for you and do cold outreach for you. So a lot of this, like even that, the fact that you can have a program that warms up your email, does cold outreach for you with personalized messaging based on the person for $15 a month, people should be so stoked about that. Like that's insane leverage for small businesses and even solopreneurs. Like that's insane leverage for low cost.
Do you think it's smart to have businesses implement everything and kind of see what works, or have them, I mean, like you, right? You're running an ad, you're running ads, you're crushing it with ads, you're creating content, you're crushing it with content. I'm sure you've done cold email in the past. Do you think it's best to have businesses do a little bit of everything and then they kind of double down on what works best, or to just say, hey, no, I'm going to stay in this boat because this boat has the most leverage, like content, because it's one to many versus cold email, which is one to one, even though obviously you can do that at scale. Do you think it's better to pick a certain camp or to do kind of everything and then double down on what works best, including AI?
I think if you can afford to do everything, it's a great way to rapidly get where you want to go because ads will work a little bit, AI will work a little bit, and then you can just refine all those systems together, just like you have to do with any new system is refine it.
Yeah.
So if you can afford to do everything at once, I think you should. I think my only caveat to that would be you need to set up data properly for AI to be helpful. And so that's part of what we have to do is go in and meet with a company and go, hey, where are you keeping all of your data? Right. And that was something we talked about with your company too. And you have to set up data in a place where it's uniform, it's stored a certain way, it's understandable by the AI so that it can give you the best insights, right? The AI is only as good as the data. It's just really good at thinking about data. So if you're going to implement everything at once, the only caveat to that would be, again, you have to be able to afford doing it in such a high quality way that you're set up for success from the beginning. A lot of times, we'll walk into a company and they're already running ads. They're already doing some type of cold outreach. And so we're just refining that system, which sometimes is easier unless it's a bad system, in which case you have to teach everyone to get off of it and on this new system, which always sucks. So I would say there's variation to that in general. If you can afford to do all of it, do it. Take massive action. We just entered a time where actually that is going to be the new model: is you have to do everything all at once, all together, at scale. Otherwise, you're going to get your butt kicked. I don't think solopreneurs, like if you're doing service based stuff, I think you're going to be able to, be that person for your sphere of influence, but it's getting harder. And you know this, Tyler, it's getting harder to be seen. It's also easier than it's ever been. So there's like a weird paradox there, but it's so easy for everybody to get seen that you have to become like a really competent uh, decision maker in how you write your copy, how you record things, how you target ads, because the space is just so much bigger than it's ever been. So if you're going to do everything all at once, you're just going to have wins because of the numbers game. You just will. If you can't afford to do that, I would use AI first. Again, it's so cheap. It can help you with a lot of that thinking. Hey, I want to start running ads. You already have your thought partner kind of built in at that point. If you start with AI to go, hey, you already know everything about my business. How would you craft an offer for this, right? And if they can't afford to pay someone who can teach them how to, put together a killer offer, the AI can totally help with that, right? It's read all Hormozy's books. It's read all the content that's out there. So if you have no leverage, start with just AI and just get really, really good at it, because then you can do everything else much easier too.
Do you think if you use it in the front end sales process, whether it's in the Instagram DMs, whether it's on a call, the second a lead gets submitted, do you think it's best to make it sound as human
Oh,
as possible and not say it's AI,
I
or do
lost
you
you.
think it's Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear
I
me?
lost you for a second. Yeah, you're
You're
back.
good. Okay, perfect. Um, Need to update my Wi-Fi. Uh, so do you think it's best to disclose that it's AI if you're using it in the sales process in Instagram DMs or on a cold call? Do you think it's best overall to say, hey, this is an AI assistant or this is XYZ AI? Or do you think it's like, nope, don't say that unless they ask?
Good question. I think it depends on what you're using it for. I think right now you should disclose it. I don't know where we're going to be with that once people get really comfortable with AI, like 10 years from now, when it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's as normal as getting a cold call from someone to sell your house. Like everyone's used to that. I don't know culturally how that'll be accepted. I think right now people are so scared of AI, and AI is not good enough to completely fake a human. Like it's not you could tell. Like there's something about it that's still off. Um, People are so afraid, and it's easy to tell. So if you don't disclose it, they're going to figure it out, and they're going to be really upset.
That's what
And
I agree.
Yeah, so I think right now you have to like just bite the bullet and maybe even play into it. Like, hi, I'm Madeline. I'm the AI, assistant for Avalis, right? For us, that's like a walking billboard, right? Like, great. Of course, I want as many AI people working for me as possible on top of the actual people because it shows the power of what we can do. But it, everything in that realm right now, Tyler, I'm not super comfortable with. I think we've spent a lot of time talking about like Instagram DMs and stuff like that. I think that stuff's fine. I think cold emails fine. I think as soon as you get into like
Phone call.
phone call, it's just not. It's not there. I think video is pretty close to being good enough. Where there could be some really replicatable systems for doing like UGC content, but even that, I'm not fully there. It's got to be good enough, and I just don't think it is quite yet. But again, 3 months ago it was awful, and now it's really good. So next week they could come out with Sora 3, and we're done. Um, like it's actually changing that fast, which is that's part of the. I think every business owner knows what it feels like to defer a decision, and then the more you defer it, the more it becomes a heavy decision that you just will not make until someday you're just like so freaking miserable and pissed off that you like punch a wall and say, let's do it. Like that's a very common experience for an entrepreneur. And that's kind of what's happening with AI, but at like light speed because it's
Hmm.
changing so quick. They're like, oh my gosh, like 3 months ago when I heard I was supposed to adopt AI and I saw that, Sora 1 was like not that good. I decided, well, AI is not there yet. I'll come back later. And now all of a sudden, everything I'm seeing is fake and I'm behind. Like that's how people are feeling. And so it defers the decision more. But like you can go get a Sora account for free. You can, if you have a Google Workspace account, you can use Gemini. You can use Google's like whole AI suite, like very, very cheap. Um, so to me, a lot of that stuff's going to be good enough very quick. So this conversation might not mean much, but right now, I don't think it's good enough. And I think in general, like at some point, the government's going to regulate AI, and you're going to have to disclose that it's AI, right? Like we were talking about my post I put on Instagram last night, and I used a software that has an AI editing component to just edit the picture I actually have of myself. I can show you the real picture. It's the exact same thing. And it picked up that it was AI, so it flagged my post saying that this was an AI generated image of me. So we're already kind of there where like some platforms are prepping for all the disclosure acts that are going to come through. Um, there's a guy I've been meeting with regularly. He's the head of AI at this huge company. They're building a digital identification system for AI agents. So AI agents are going to have an ID at some point. Like they're kind of betting that's where it's going. And I think that's true because if it can act autonomously for you, you need to know which one of your AI bots, ordered $500 worth of Starbucks, right? You'd be like, wait, which one did it, right? This is bad.
Crazy.
So that whole macro discussion's weird. We could guess. We're probably going to be wrong. But like, I think you're going to have to disclose it at some point anyway. I doubt it's going to be something they let us get away with for too long. So just build it to last, is what I would say. Just disclose it, lean into it.
Big picture, do you think I watched Elon on Rogan the other day and he's like, eventually it might get to the point where our agents do all the work for us. Like literally like replace us and then we don't even have to work. Like it's our agents who are doing the work for us. And it just becomes this like utopia almost where we do whatever we want all
Yeah.
day and our agents are literally going to work for us. Do you see that or do you agree with that or do you think there will always be a human element to it based on everything you know?
I I'd be lying to you if I told you I'm not guessing like crazy on this.
Yeah,
Anyone,
of course.
including Elon, is guessing on this, right?
Of course.
I I know there are some really powerful people who helped to build all of this that behind the scenes are lobbying for AI to make its entrance into government. There's a really good book called Nexus. I actually disagree with like a lot of the stuff in the book. I have a very different belief system from who wrote it, so there's just kind of general disagreements. But one of the stories he brought up, he's talking about how information changes over time and how the wealth of information that we have now is creating new problems we've never had before. Just an interesting kind of history read. there was a case he brought up where a judge used a machine learning algorithm to decide the judgment for someone. And it basically just looked at this person's life and said, yeah, this is probably a repeat offender. We're going to give you the maximum penalty. It was like 6 years. And that actually happened already. So I think there's two paths this can go. And I think capitalism is the only thing that's going to defer it from being really bad, because people get to vote with your dollars to some degree, right? So if Amazon goes, hey, we're firing 20,000 people and we're replacing them with AI and autonomous delivery vehicles and a robot that will walk your package up to the door, all of those individual things already exist, by the way, then I think a lot of people will boycott Amazon. I just do, right?
Yeah.
Um, I know multiple people that work at Amazon. I'm assuming most people know someone who works at Amazon. And so I see that happening as like a cultural thing. So I think these companies are going to have to slow it down. And I think if they slow it down, this is what I'm getting to. Avalis, my company, it's that word is two words, Avalon and Polis. Avalon is obviously utopia, and Polis means city. And my vision for what's going to happen is either complete utopia or complete dystopia. I think utopia is a lot more of what you brought up, which is like, we're not receiving a paycheck from the government, because that's obviously going to turn dystopian really quickly. We have enough history to know that. So there's either dystopian, which is like the government starts using AI to make decisions, big brother, our freedoms slowly get taken away. It can predict what we're going to do before we do it. And so people start going to jail for things they haven't quite done yet because it's literally that good. That's very dystopian, very scary. And actually probably it's the most probable outcome, to be honest with you. What I'm hoping, I'd say there's like a 40% chance the latter happens, which is companies adopt this properly. They don't fire people. They empower people within their companies, and they say, hey, if we 10x the company over the next 2 years, everyone gets double the pay and you get to work half the time, because they can literally afford to do that. So that's like our whole model is we go into companies, we do the whole thing where it's like, hey, how do we help you make more money? How do we help you automate? But it's like the express goal is we meet with every single employee in the company, every human in the company. And we learn about what they love doing. We learn about what they're good at. We learn about what makes the company money, why they're there, all that. We then build systems for them, right? So Judy, who's in charge of accounting, we show Judy how to use ChatGPT. We train them. We build the system for Judy to make her life easier so that she can just do what she's really good at doing, right? If Judy is the one that you want like sifting through the books, finding like that one transaction someone screwed you over on, I don't want Judy like sitting in team meetings that are pointless just so she knows what's going on. We're going to automate note taking for her. We're going to automate emails for her, and she's going to hunt like a dog for everyone scamming the company all day, right? So we go in and find the express purpose that that person wants at the company, and we try to shrink their role into just doing that. And the company can then say, hey, we're going to be the biggest, and so you're going to keep working a full week. We're just going to have triple the outcome. Great. We also help the executives figure out a way to compensate everybody for adopting AI. Because if your company gets 20% better in 6 months, everyone should be rewarded for going along with the stress of just change. Yeah. So there is a utopian version of that. That's exactly what we're chasing. We're trying to create jobs by creating the agent model where people can build a business doing what we do under us, with our guidance, with our tools, with our expertise. We are also trying to create this utopian environment by, like, the only way I can help enough companies build out that utopian model is if we can scale rapidly and help as many companies as possible, literally over the next 2 years. It's that quick. I don't have time to scale this thing over a 10-year period, because 2 or 3 years from now, our fate's going to be decided. And so I literally feel the pressure to, like, I need a system where we can bring as many people in to learn how to do this and go help as many companies as they can, right? That's like the heart behind the mechanism, because of what you just said. There's a real chance everyone's life gets way better. Cancer gets cured. Like, the research benefits of AI kick in. Everyone's making more money. There's plenty of money, right? It's just going to a lot of places that none of us ever see. And so if we can create more revenue models with AI for people, that's utopia. Everyone's balling. Everyone's having a great time. we're going to have a renaissance age again. There's going to be more emphasis on human creativity because everyone's so sick of artificial creativity. And guess what? We will all have money and time. So art, sports, anything where there's potential human error or human expression is going to skyrocket. Like if I could put like a 3 times leverage bet down on sporting industries, I would do it right now. Like it's absolutely going to happen. And so that utopia sounds incredible to me. I'm just very confident that the people building these things want the latter, which is like they're the final power in the world because that's every supervillain craves that. I just think in America specifically, we have the ability to break that norm and show everyone what's possible and still be that city on a hill. So that's what we're chasing as kind of a very long-winded answer to your question.
No, it's a great answer. Do you think that in real life events, like let's say for my outlaw thing, right down the road, or
Yep.
any in-person event, functions, entrepreneur groups, networking events, do you think that's going to carry more weight in the future because it's almost going to be like, I'm so tired of this AI, whatever, that they still need that in-person connection because we're still all human at the end of the day? Like, do you think it'll be good even for you to host events with your clients in person or
Dude,
XYZ? Do you feel like people are,
100%.
it's almost going to get more powerful, right? Like, in my
Oh,
opinion.
exponentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, exponentially. Like the bar industry is going to skyrocket. Like anywhere, I go to Trophy Room in downtown Phoenix. It's a super cool speakeasy. You leave your phone at the door. You literally
That's
can't
sick.
take your phone in.
I need to go. Yeah. That's sick.
Let's go soon. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. It's like a hyper focused human experience, but also it's a cool vibe. And so I think stuff like that will crush. I think taking all your clients to a sporting event is going to be like this wow moment, right? Instead of just kind of like something you always do. Because sporting events are going to blow up. It's going to be harder to get tickets. They're going to be more expensive. Like demand is going to go up for anything with human error potential because it's going to get really boring seeing everything done perfectly all the time. It'll be nice. The P&L is going to look great, right? But everybody's going to want to know what might happen, right? And so uh, music and art, that's why I say we're going to have a renaissance age purely out of demand. We're going to have the ability to like satisfy the creative needs of a renaissance age where everyone just wants to consume. But like it's actually going to be like unbelievably meaningful because everything else in our life is going to be predictable. Everything.
Do you think so? You think sports will always be human centered? It's not going to be like that one robot movie where you're watching two robots fight each other or box, or I forgot the name of it. But
Well, okay,
like,
that's different. That's different.
okay.
Um, because if you're putting robot against robot in like a fighting environment, uh, like they could potentially, I think, especially guys, like we just like to see stuff get destroyed, and so that might still be fun to go to like a robot fight night. But I think the UFC will outperform that dramatically. Like I think that could become something at a small scale, but like I would never pay $100 to go watch two robots fight because like the chances of that being rigged ahead of time is like 99%, right?
That's deep. That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
so like going to an NFL game and wondering if, Travis Kelsey's going to keep dropping the ball because he wants to go home to Taylor, like that's a uniquely human thing, right? That like the depth of all the weird, side stories and injuries and like all this stuff. It's like you never know what's going to happen during an NFL season. You never know what's going to happen during the Masters. That's why, like, when the ball's rolling towards the hole and it's the winning putt, everyone is shutting up and leaning forward. Like, you literally cannot manufacture that. So I don't think we will. I think it's just going to be. I think we're going to create new sports. I think esports will blow up finally. Like it's had the potential. We're going to have 3 or 4 generations now that have grown up with video games, just like everyone grew up with sports, and all of a sudden everyone's going to want to consume more human error entertainment. And so I think esports will blow up too. Like anything in that realm is going to do really good. I think meetups are going to be great because it's like everyone's going to be able to have their own business. Solopreneur is going to be the new business model. Like there's going to be a solopreneur billionaire in the next 10 years, probably sooner. And that's crazy. But it's also exciting because what happens to the middle class when everybody can become an entrepreneur? the
That's deep.
economy explodes.
Yeah.
Explodes. So I generally think all of that can be a really good thing, but we have to play the next 2 to 3 years like aggressive defense and preparation. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. I know a lot of people are just like, hey, I'm gonna build this like one phone receptionist bot and sell it for 5 grand a pop. It's like, dude, great, you'll make some money, but like those things are not the most helpful thing you can do for someone's company. And the sad thing is that some company who can barely afford 5 grand is going to pay it because they're like, wow, I can have an AI receptionist, and they'll blow the bag on something that doesn't work. And so that's that's like the problem I see with where like the industry I'm in right now is there's like no one actually understands what's going on. People are kind of throwing money they don't have at stuff, and like that's why we're trying to be super affordable because we can be. Like it's not like we're McKinsey and it takes us 6 months to find out what's going wrong in your company. We
Yeah.
built systems so we can do it in 2 weeks, right? And so let's give you some clarity for like nothing compared to what they charge. And
Z-
so it's a weird intersection that's happening right now, man.
Zooming out, if you take a step back and look at your own life from a personal level, how do you want to be remembered?
Hmm. Uh, Good question. I want to be remembered as someone who got constantly more focused on God and actually like courageously answered the call given. I think my biggest fear, I guess let's reverse engineer my biggest fear because that's normally the driver. My biggest fear is that I wake up one day and I'm like, I did nothing. Like I did the bare minimum. I didn't change anyone's life. I didn't solve any real world problems. I didn't yeah, I didn't help anyone see God. Like all the spiritual responsibilities that I think we all have. I didn't do any of those because I was so afraid of what could happen. And I'm saying that as someone who's kind of done that actually for the last like, I don't know, 4 years. Um, and it really was like 6 months ago where I felt like God shook me and was like, dude, it's time. Like you've been learning how to do all this stuff. Uh, and the vision for Avalis that came out of that is like so much bigger than I ever could have imagined. And it almost doesn't feel like my idea. Like I felt divinely inspired to do this. Um, and so I want to be remembered for that. Like I don't want people to see me doing this. I want people to see that at the right time God calls people up to do things, and if you answer, He blesses it. I I have worked 10% as hard starting this company as I've done anything else in my life. At least that's how it feels. Like it's felt seamless. It's been the most successful thing I've ever done, and it's literally every single day getting better. And I started waking up every day and saying, like, God, what are we doing today? Like, who do you want me to talk to? I literally have a meeting later today with someone that this morning I literally felt the Lord go, hey, you need to meet with this person. And I bumped into them downtown today, and I was like, hey, we're chatting this afternoon. And he was like, dude, I felt the same way. Let's do it. I want to be someone that people like actually see God working through. You know what I mean? It's one thing for me to know that I'm going to God in secret and being like, "Hey God, like I really want to succeed, help me with this." It's another to be like, "What do you want me to do?" and just say yes all day and like actually make a difference. I'm terrified of doing the opposite. And so I want to be remembered for someone that just worked for the Lord, you know?
To add on top of that, from a self awareness perspective, and appreciate you being vulnerable, what do you think your biggest weakness and strength is as a person?
My biggest strength is I'm completely delusional. I don't understand why you can't do something. Like when someone presents a cool idea, there could be something wrong with the idea, but the people that just go, yeah, it's no. I'm like, why not? Like I've seen so many people do the impossible that I don't understand why I can't. And I think there's still times where reality creeps in. You're like, whoa, we gotta make something happen here. But that's normal. I think generally I'm so delusional that I can just actually focus on taking action, which is good. I think sometimes I don't take action until I understand something, and I would actually say that's my weakness. When I understand something, like I don't hear people telling me to not do that thing. I literally like I'm gonna get what I want. I'm gonna go do it. It's going to happen. If I don't understand something, I do get into analysis paralysis a little bit, where I'm like, okay, like yeah, Tyler, you've given me a lot of good advice, and I've taken like 20% of it, not because it's not all good advice, but because I'm not quite sure what that means yet. But like you brought up to me, we got coffee recently. You were like, hey, you don't need to post just about your business. Like you could also just post about you so people know who you are. And like that day, I started like I literally my TikTok right now is mostly about me now. Like it's just me talking about me. And so like some things like that, if someone gives me a good piece of advice, I will actually just go do it. Like, all right, no need to think about that. That was cool. I'm gonna go do that. Um, but yeah, my weakness is maybe not taking action quick enough on some things. Um, I don't think anything's impossible, but I just won't do certain things until I understand it. It's probably a terrible answer, but
No, it's a great answer. It's real too. I love asking that question. Some people will be like, they'll give the job interview answer like, sometimes I'm just a perfectionist, and it's like, what? It's like, bro, that's really a strength. Come on now, like, it's like
we're all
be
really tired of the LinkedIn answers to those
right,
questions. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Just yeah, no, dude. I mean, I struggle with a lot of the same thing. It's like you overthink the paralysis by analysis, or you get too into the future, and you're like, what's the end goal? What's the North Star? And that's important to have, but then
yeah,
you get too existential, and it stops you from actually taking action today, which allows you to see that path clearer when you're actually walking, putting one
totally.
foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's yeah,
I think clarity is required for action, right? Like you do better in the gym if you have a workout plan before you show up to the gym,
yeah,
right? When you have clarity on a goal, you know how to reverse engineer it. You have clear tasks every day. That goal is going to get done just because there's
yeah.
clarity. Like I think clarity is important, but I think I take it like a little bit past that where I'm like, I don't understand it. Like it's almost like an emotional side of it where I'm like, this needs to excite me and it doesn't excite me. So I'm not going to do it. That's
Right.
actually probably a better way of saying it. Yeah.
No, dude, I love that. It's a great. I mean, yeah, it's a great answer. At the end of the day, I mean, do you care to be like what's your why behind it? You want to help out as many people as possible. You want to make a difference. You don't want to look back at your life when you're 80 or 90 on your deathbed and say, "Hey, I didn't really help the world," or take that kind of Goggins mentality, like, what would God say? You could have done this. You could have done this, this, this. Like, I love that. But I guess what motivates you day to day? Is it that mission? Is it the business? Is it the money? Is it the people you're building it with? What do you think is the biggest driver? Is it proving people wrong? What do you think is the biggest driver for you?
I'd be lying if proving people wrong didn't have something to do with it. I was homeschooled until high school. I was constantly the kid that like nobody like I was not capable of doing what everyone else could do because I was homeschooled. That ended up being my superpower because I learned to teach myself. And so I'm just not afraid to do new things because of that. Not being afraid to do new things has also I literally just created some content about this yesterday. Like I'm on my seventh company, right? I've done everything from a golf company to a social media marketing company to like a tax lien fund that deployed a couple $1 million. Like I've been all over the place. And someone the other day heard I was doing AI and was like, "Oh, wonder what he's going to do next." And those types of comments, I legitimately wake up pissed off. Like I'm ready to go immediately. And I love that. Like I'm rereading this book for like the fifth time, Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet David. It's literally a business planning book about having the right enemies. And it's not an unhealthy, like, I'm gonna bury this person. Like they're never. It's not like that, but it's like it's okay to have those people that you hear their voice the moment you wake up and you're like, let's get it. You're
Yep.
you're going down, right?
Yep.
So I for sure have those. My biggest motivator, aside from the spiritual, like I know what you're actually asking. My biggest motivator is I am going to change the trajectory of my family. It's on me. I My dad was an entrepreneur, and it gave us enough freedom. Not really financially. We were always kind of strapped growing up, really strapped actually a couple times, but um, he showed me that it was possible, and I feel like completely indebted to the sacrifices that he made for so long, that my family will not look the same after I'm done. That's the big one.
I love it. It's a great answer. To top things off, I love this question, but what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice. I'm going to quote Hormozy on this one because I think it is the best advice. Uh, if you want to succeed at something, do so much work that it would be unreasonable for you not to succeed. That's got to be it. Do so much work that it would be unreasonable for you not to succeed.
It's a banger. It's a banger.
Like that's it. That's like all of the good advice wrapped in one.
It's a banger.
Like there's advice for marketing and for sales and for this and for that, but that's it.
Even church, showing up at church with your family, like
All of
everything.
it, dude.
Put it in.
All of it. You want to be a good husband? Put so much of your life force into being a husband that it would be unreasonable for your wife to do anything but look at you with adoration, right? Like everything in your life, be 100%. Be 100% for everything in your life except for your like urges.
Yeah.
If you can turn a blind eye to the I feel tired, or I feel like drinking, or I feel like doing drugs, or I feel like going down the sexual deviant path, like if you can divert from all those things that everybody feels, and you just give 100% to everything around you, I think that is the key to pure happiness, is like total self-sacrifice and total dedication to like something huge. I don't think there's uh, anything that can stop you if that's your view.
It's a great answer. Great answer, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you at? Where can they go if they want to work with you? Highly recommend it, by the way.
Thank you. Instagram, john.abbitt, Abbitt. You can find me on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, same name. You can go to Avolis, AVOLIS.ai, to learn more about the company. You can give us a call, email, anything from there. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
John.
Tyler. Thanks
Appreciate
for
you
having
coming
me.
on.